Doing pretty good.
Isaac, had the chance to cover you at Wisconsin. Over there, as the third running back, it felt like your speed wasn't fully utilized until you came to Louisville. How were you able to kind of break that out this year into having the season that you did?
So just being a part of such a dynamic offense, there was a lot of versatility. Obviously the ability to pass the ball. That was a big transition, from what I was used to at Wisconsin. So that transition, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit more, as well as run the ball. I think that allowed me to showcase that.
How's your relationship with Jawar? I mean, you guys both now at the Combine, both spend the year together. He told me you guys were roommates this past year. Kind of how has that process been with him this whole time through the Combine?
Yeah, so starting off from when I first got to Louisville, he was a welcoming guy. I think you talk about a lot of running backs in that position. You could see bringing a transfer in as being almost an insult in a way. But me and him have built a crazy bond over just the last year. So I think that underlying connection that allowed us to just want the best for each other. When you talk about being on the field, wanting each other to have success, but also being able to push each other, hold each other accountable. Obviously I feel like we complemented each other well that way.
Another of your former teammates is a big deal here in this town. Have you leaned on Jonathan Taylor at all for this process and picked his brain, anything like that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually talked to him recently, just asking him questions kind of about how this process is and stuff. So obviously being able to have a mentor like that, it's, I'm more than thankful for that. But he's a guy, that anytime I text him, he's going to respond. So I can't appreciate him enough for that.
A couple years ago, he answered you as the fastest player he's ever been around. Just what's it mean for somebody like that to recognize your abilities, and what does that do for you?
Shoot. How athletic he is himself, I obviously, hearing something from such not only a great person, but a great player as well. So, getting recognition from one of the greatest, that obviously feels good.
What did you weigh in high school when you were on that 10-500?
I was 195, so I was a little bit lighter than I am now, about 25 pounds. So.
Isaac, talking about tomorrow, how excited are you to get out there to showcase your speed? And really, everything's coming to a halt tomorrow when you actually go out and showcase your skills at the Combine.
Yeah, obviously that's what we came here for. Obviously we've been here for a little while now, but now it's really time to do what we came here for. Go out there, all the 2 months of training, put that into action tomorrow.
Isaac, talk to me, a little bit about being one of the most underrated running backs in this year's class. Do you feel like you're not getting the shine like these other guys? And also, what do you feel like is the most underrated part about your game?
I think there's obviously, a lot of great running backs in this class, but, I think for what it was worth, I was able to showcase enough, especially, to be able to be on this stage, get this opportunity, to be at the NFL Combine. So, that in itself, is a blessing, but, I feel like, for me, I feel like I have a good combination of size and speed. I think at times, people think, you're 220 pounds. Obviously, when I did run a 10.5 in high school, I'm 195 pounds. So, you put on 30 pounds, you talk about, okay, can he move the same? But, I feel like I still can move around fairly well.
Isaac, obviously this worked out for you. You kind of go back when the decision came whether or not to move on from Wisconsin, kind of what those conversations were like, how close you were to coming back, who you were consulting, who was giving you advice and all of that.
Yeah, so it was something just kind of that I talked over, it was like me and my parents, we kind of came to that decision, it was like I really have one more year to really showcase my ability. And, being a part of such a deep backfield at Wisconsin, I didn't feel like that was going to be the place that I'd be able to do that. You talk about Braylon Allen, Ches Malusi, and me, we're all, rotating a three-man rotation. So, it's kind of difficult to be able to showcase a lot in such a deep room. But, like I said, that's kind of why I made the transition. Also, transitioning to like a very dynamic offense. Like I said, being able to showcase, all three dimensions. Being a running back, running the ball, passing, or catching the ball out of the backfield as well as pass protection. So I feel like it was a good decision for me.
Speaking about
Wisconsin, I know the injuries played a big role in this. getting a chance to get out there and show what you can. Did you get out there?
You know, I feel like, you know, it's kind of a struggle early on. It's like, you know, if you're injured, you know, you can't really showcase anything. You know, it just, you know, kind of makes things difficult. But, you know, I think, you know, when I was healthy, you know, I feel like I was given an opportunity. But like I said, you know, being a part of such deep backfields, you know, you talk about Jonathan Taylor being there, and then, you know, like I said, Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi while I was, you know, there, you know, it becomes difficult. But, you know, I think I was given a fair opportunity when I was there.
Isaac, did you end up meeting with the Bengals? And, you know, when you look at an offense like that with Burrow and Jamar Chase, how do you feel like, you know, you fit in?
I mean, I think, yeah, I did meet with them, but, you know, an offense like that, you talk about complementing the pass game with the run game, you know, obviously, you know, when you have so many threats on the outside like that, you know, it does help the run game. It's going to help it open up. So, you know, obviously being part of something like that would be pretty special.
Have you met with the Cowboys?
Yes.
Is that formal or informal?
Informal.
What do you think about them and playing in that offense?
You know, obviously at this point, you know, I'm really just open to, you know, whoever's going to give me an opportunity. I think, you know, that's kind of the mindset, you know, I've always built. You know, nobody really, you know, has the number one over me. It's just kind of like, you know, whoever believes in me, whoever thinks I have a potential to play there, you know, that's really where I want to play for.
You mentioned the additional weight that you put on during your time in college. I'm a Louisville alum, so I watched you know, bust off quite a few explosive runs. Can you tell me about your favorite one and why was that?
Favorite run this season?
Yeah.
If I were to pick one, I'd probably have to say the Virginia game. You know, being in crunch time, you know, it's 3 minutes left on the clock. You know, I had a counter run. You know, I was fortunate enough to break it. You know, and you know, take it to the house. So, you know, just hearing the stadium just erupt at that point, you know, it felt really good. But, you know, just the feeling of, you know, being able to contribute in such a big way, you know, to just really help out the team, you know, I think that's what felt so good about that.
Have you had the chance to hang with the Steelers at all throughout the process?
Yeah, I have.
Was that here informally or informally?
Informally.
Isaac, close with Braylon at all? And if so, what type of player is a team potentially going to draft him? What are they getting?
Yeah, so like I said, you know, I've been very close, very tight-knit with all the running back rooms that I've been a part of. Braylon Allen, you know, being one of those guys. So, you know, obviously seeing him on this stage with me, you know, I'm honored. You know, it's been nice. You know, just the connection that we have. You know, we're always in touch as well. But you know, him. You know, obviously, you know, there's not a lot of people built like him. You know, he's a big dude. He's very strong and he moves very well for how big he is. So, you know, you talk about that combination of things. You know, a guy who's willing to work hard, you know, whatever that may be, whether that's special teams, you know, I think, you know, regardless of how much special teams he played in his college career, I know he's, you know, willing to do that.
You think you can rank 4-4? Get under 4-4?
You know, honestly, you know, I've kind of just developed the mentality to just go out there, you know, run my race. You know, I don't really want to think too much about like specific times just because, you know, I don't want to be in my head. But, you know, I'm confident that I'll run a decent time.
Do you think people will be somewhat surprised by, you know, your speed and your size? You think it shows enough on tape?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it'll surprise some people. You know, I think there's people, you know, they're like, you know, he has a track history. You know, I think he's going to run a decent time. But then I think there's others that are like, you know, he's put on 20, 25 pounds since, you know, he was a track guy and he ran 10.5. But, you know, I think it'll definitely open some eyes, hopefully. So that's the goal.
Isaac just brought in a new offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. You know, he runs a lot of that wide zone. Your, you know, skill set is kind of tailor-made for that offense. Did they talk to you at all about like how they plan on like maybe using you or asking you any particular questions about the offense?
Oh yeah, so interviews they've been pretty general up to this point. You know, just kind of, you know, how you like retention, stuff like that, and then but you know, all interviews have been smooth up to this point. But like I said, you know, offenses like that, you know, just me being a one-cut type guy, you know, just north and south runner, you know, obviously, you know, offenses like that stick out.
Have you met with Tampa Bay this week?
I have not.
Have you met with the 49ers this week?
Yes, I have.
Informal or formal?
Informal.
What were kind of those conversations like getting to meet with their brass?
Yeah, so I mean, like kind of similarly, like the offensive play style there. You know, it's kind of suited for me. You know, just like a stretch and cut type offense. You know, north and south, like like my game really, I would say. So.
I mean, they value a lot of different running backs. You know, they got the power guys, but they also got those one-cut guys that can really just turn up fields. Do you feel a little more comfortable when you're working out of committee, knowing how well you played this past year with Jordan at Louisville?
Yeah, I would say. You know, I think really just in general, just being a part of offense that you can be confident in, that allows you to play a lot faster. So.
What's it mean to do this process in your hometown and just maybe have it be a homecoming and get to take this next step here?
Yeah, so no, it's a surreal moment. Being 15 minutes from home, never knew I would be in this position, but I'm blessed to be here. Obviously, up until this point, just talk about being at Wisconsin at first and transitioning to Louisville, but then being able to be on a stage like this and being able to showcase enough to get to this point, it feels good to realize that people believe in you enough to get you to this point. So for sure.